Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, whatever place it is that you tuned on to the Live Signatures Radio. It's a daily show where we talk about purpose, productivity, and resilience. We are going strong. Right now we are on episode number 1530 something, and we're going to continue churning as many episodes as possible as God gives us the wisdom, as God gives us the life, as God gives us the strength and the anointing to do this. We will keep doing it. We talk about purpose, we talk about productivity, we talk about resilience and anything in between and everything in between. We are in the middle of a series where we're talking about regression. We're talking about the potent power in being patient as you regress. The potent power in being patient as you regress. And people always want us to talk about progress. But let me tell you something. In the equation of progress, there is regression. That's a fact of life. That's a principle of life, actually. So let us see how this one happens. What else should we do when we're regressing? Stay tuned today.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Obviously, it is important for us to keep emphasizing and to keep revisiting the idea that regression is part and parcel of life. Whether we've invited it into our lives, self-invited or uninvited regression, as long as we are humans living after Adam ate the fruit, we are going to regress in life. We are not perfect. Nothing we start is perfect. Facebook regressed. Twitter regressed. Apple regressed big time, and now they're $1 trillion company. Regression is not the end of life. It is part of life, and sometimes it contributes to the growth and the progress that we are seeking in life. It gives us feedback on what doesn't work. Edison, we are told he discovered how many ways that doesn't work to discover the bulb, the light bulb. 100 ways, I think 1,000 ways or something like that. The first one didn't work. That was a regression. The second one, that was a regression. The third one, the fourth one, the fifth, the 1,000th, and then boom, the method worked. You see, it tells us that we need to keep going. And there are some things, let me just put a caveat here. There are some things that are obvious. They're not going to work. We shouldn't spend our time on them. And this one goes to the startup world. Sometimes we are so in love with the things that we've spent a lot of time and resources working on them, and they will never work, but we still want to keep working on them. We go and we borrow loans and we get a lot of money and we sink into something that is not even supposed to be followed in the first place. And so it doesn't help to keep being patient with something that is not workable. But when something doesn't work, it has given you an invaluable feedback. It's given you invaluable feedback that you can actually use to pivot, to take another step, and so on and so forth. So when a regression happens in your life, that's what we're discussing in these episodes. What happens when you're regressing and you're doing the right thing? You've made a decision that you're going to get married, and you're going to have a very blissful life. 3 years, 5 years down the marriage, a blip happens, a regression happens. What's that? Doesn't mean that the marriage should come to an end, not necessarily. Okay, there are some situations where it should. Okay, I'm not talking about black and white here, I'm talking about gray areas also. There are some situations that it should come to an end, but there are some situations that it shouldn't, but then it does. Why? Because we've not handled the regression well. So yesterday we said, number one, if regression comes into your life, learn to celebrate when you regress. And you can only learn to celebrate when you regress when you have anticipated the regression. You've known that I am not perfect, I'm imperfect, she's imperfect. At some point in time, we're going to hit a wall. When we do hit a wall, how are we going to navigate that wall? Hitting the wall doesn't mean you are hitting the end of the marriage. Are you getting what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm communicating? I'm communicating using marriage as an analogy. There are very many other things. It can be a startup. It can be your physical fitness, for example. You start working out and so on and so forth, and you reach a particular place where you weigh yourself. Nothing has changed. Nothing has happened. In fact, you feel like giving up at the end of the day. That is a moment that you need to celebrate, because it's giving you feedback that at least you are doing something, and at least you expected that regression to come. Secondly, this is the crux of the matter. Be patient. This is why we've been doing this episode all along. Regression, you shouldn't jump out of a frying pan. Jumping from the frying pan into the fire. You shouldn't jump out of a crucible of regression because it's regression. Simply because it's uncomfortable. There are some things that we need to learn. We need to learn to say, I am sorry. Don't say, I quit. It's over. It's over between us. Just say you're sorry. Come on. Maybe we need to learn to do that. That's why we need to stay in the crucible. We want to stay in the fire. It needs to keep burning us. It needs to keep simmering us for some minutes. Okay? So we need, when a moment of regression happens sometimes, is basically like a football match. A football match happens in 90 minutes. Give or take. 90 minutes. Now, in the 36th minute, you might concede 2 goals. Do you quit the football match? No, you don't. You stay patient until the 90. Now, what is the 90 in your life? It's the end of your life. Okay? So you stay patient. And I know I need to make a caveat here. I'm not talking about everything. There are some things in life that needs to end. If your husband is beating you and threatening you with a gun, what are you doing there? Oh, I love him. He's gonna change before he kills you. Some things they need to come an end. You can't be patient in an abusive environment. Okay? There's some things that you need to take into your hands and just end them. But there are others that can have life, where you need to be patient with them. Sometimes the patience works on you more than it works on anybody else. So you've got to be patient in some instances that you're going through. So I just want you to look at what regression it is that you're going through at this moment in time, and be sincere with yourself. That's the key word. Be sincere with yourself. Do you need to quit, or do you need to change? Do you need to quit, or you need to increase in your capacity? Do you need to quit, or you need to mature, grow up? Right? Find out what is. With a changed mindset that a regression is just part and parcel of growth, especially in the early hours of starting something new, one needs to arm themselves with patience. You need to be patient. In other words, you are not necessarily looking forward to progress. You are looking to embracing a regression so that you can grow. You are fully aware that it is growth happening. It's a growth continuum. I need to be forgiving. I need to be asking for forgiveness. I need to be a good listener. I need to absorb all the negative feedback that people are giving me. So I'm going to be patient in the process. You're also aware that you deserve to regress because you are not a master. You have not arrived yet. Imagine if all these masters in their crafts, in their niches, if they gave up because of a regression, they will not be masters anymore. That's why they are being patient. Right? You wanted to be a very good public speaker, and you go out the first time and you completely lost for words. I'll never forget that at the time a guy joined Toastmasters, and I was the one evaluating him. He had prepared the whole week. It came to the moment of delivering his speech. He was blank, absolutely blank for a whole 45 seconds. And then it affected the rest of his speech. Do you know that's a moment of regression? Do you know that it's easy, actually absolutely easy, to listen to the voices that saying you cannot be a speaker? Look at you. That was pathetic. You will never be a speaker. In fact, you will agree with someone who tells you that. No, it's wrong. All he needs to do is to be patient. And next week or next meeting, give it another try. Give it another go. Just be patient. Soon enough, the stammerer becomes a master. Soon enough, the novice becomes a genius. Soon enough, the one who has been trying chopsticks on keyboard becomes a virtuoso, because they were patient through their moments of regression. They didn't jump out of the crucible. They stayed put with the process, and it's now paying back. They are becoming a master. You are aware that it is through this regression that you learn how things can be done better. In fact, I normally say this, there is no better feedback than feedback you receive while you are in action, especially when the action you've done gives you a regression. That's good feedback. You can work on it. You know things can be better. Think of the man who invented the light bulb. I've talked about him. Regress after regress after regress, 1,000 times regressing, but staying patient, because he knew light is good. It is better than darkness. And finally, through a season of patience, voila! Light was invented. Okay, light bulb was invented, or whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? So I want you to look at your life at this moment in time. There are some things you've been attempting to do. They have not been coming off well. You've been attempting to be a very good husband, but it's not been working. Still, you're not being noticed. Don't give up. Don't walk away. Be patient with yourself and with them. Been trying to be a good parent. Been trying to be a good wife. You've been trying to be a good person for your own personal development. You've tried that startup. You're sending out a podcast and people are not even listening. 2 people. You've spent a whole day polishing your works. Nobody is watching them. Nobody is viewing. You don't have views. But the people who are having views are those ones who are twerking. Be patient. Don't go and join the twerkers. Right? Stay put with your work, even when you're regressing, because you've realized that it's something that is of value at the end of the day. Stay put with it when you're regressing. And I know you've understood that I'm not talking about everything. I'm talking about the gray areas, not the black and white. Tomorrow we continue. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.